Okay, so how to protect your Altec woofer? So in the past couple episodes I have talked about the surrounds. So that's the loudspeaker surround that attaches the loudspeaker cone to the basket. And basically there's multiple types of them, and these Altec kinds, they are these nice accordion type surrounds. And I think Frank pointed out that they changed the material, that now they are using these old material, because you see, I can see it, you can see it there, that it looks shiny. And it looks shiny because it's truly wet and moist. It's not something dry, because it has a phenolic material coating the ply. So basically the purpose of that phenolics is that it it prevents the that paper part from rubbing and breaking and tearing, and it also prevents animals and bacteria from eating it, and you won't have flies and all sorts of stuff just burrowing into it and eating it. You won't have the cockroaches eating it, because if they try to do that, they die. Because the phenolics are poisonous, they are carcinogenic, they are liver poison, and that's why they had to change the recipe, because that material is illegal. And what they can use instead, it's much less efficient. It doesn't give nearly as good protection as the old phenolics did. And you see, oh, there's a shine, really nice shine. And the other thing that you can do to protect your old Altec or other JBL whatnot paper cones, any kind of paper cones, is that and that's the only thing I will need to do here, because this surround will live forever. The only thing I will need to do is, after a while, this paper cone can get brittle, because this is not phenolic treated like the surround. And when it gets brittle, basically because of the vibrations, it's losing structural integrity, it's degrading, pieces getting looser and breaking apart. And especially the sun's UV damage, that helps this breakage process. So with time it will just lose integrity, and when it's lost integrity a lot, then when there's a sudden cone movement, it will rip, and then you will see that your cone starts breaking up. Before you get to that stage, you can catch that by monitoring the color and the look of the loudspeaker cone. So if you see that your paper cone is doesn't look that nice shiny black that it looked like, but now looks much more dull, much more grayish and lighter color, that's the indication that the paper is degrading. And then you add Minwax wood hardener, and you can get it at any City Mill or Home Depot in the USA. I don't know what that would be called in Europe, or under what brand name. It is a liquid. Basically, it is a varnish that you can apply with a brush on the paper material, apply it lightly, and cover the entire cone with the Minwax wood hardener. And that will basically reform your paper cone, and it will be good to go for another 10, 20, 30 years. And then 30 years later, again, when you see it lightening, apply another layer of wood hardener. And uh, it's kind of tricky, so I will give you tricks on how to use that. And I extremely highly recommend to practice it on a cheap driver first before you do it on an expensive driver. And that's because eventually I did practice on cheaper drivers before, but I had an Altec driver, and actually that was the one I wanted to use to build loudspeakers, a pair of them. And I was applying that wood hardener trick on it because those cones were in a worse shape than these guys. They were quite a bit older, and I killed one of them because I was holding it upright like this is now in the loudspeaker cabinet, and I was applying with the brush, and the liquid and the wood hardener just ran down. So I had too much liquid on the brush. It ran down, and when it touched the dust cap, then it ran back and went into the voice coil gap. So it just hardened on the voice coil, and since then it rubs extremely badly. So the only way to fix that would be to remove it and get a new voice coil, new spider, new surrounds, and that is a driver that does not have replacement spider, replacement surrounds. It is done. That's it. I cannot do anything about it, and I ruined that loudspeaker that way, that I really was looking forward to build a cabinet for it. With that, I could have built a much smaller cabinet than this guy, so that was my actually my push to build these big boys, and actually I have not regretted that at all. So that misfortune was a blessing in disguise, but at that time I just wanted to jump out the balcony. I was just so mad with myself, but now I can make this video so that you don't make that mistake. So if you apply the Minwax wood hardener, apply it with the help of gravity. So keep your cone upright and go from the center. So if it runs, then it runs down. And only use a small brush and apply only a little bit at one time. Make sure that the brush is not soaking with the wood hardener, so it runs down, and just go lightly, keep on rotating your driver until you finish the whole surface. And do not keep the driver with face up. That's what I did. So the basket was down and the cone was facing up, and I was going from the outside, and then it ran down onto the inside. So don't do that. If you do that, then get your loudspeaker, either lay it flat on the back or take out your loudspeaker cone and no, don't do that. Don't lay it flat in the back. So if you want to do that wood hardener trick, then take out your driver cone, keep it upright, and as I said, apply it from here, go down, and keep on rotating your loudspeaker cone until you finish the whole thing. and and that's if you have something very sensitive, and then you will have 0% chance of ruining it. Yep, so I think that's my advice. But now this video, look at that. So the next thing, because for here I won't need to do the Minwax trick. I think I will need to do that in 2030, 10 years from now. So until then, the only thing I was worried about is that dust and hair collecting on the surround, because it's like a wet and moist surface. So if I touch it, it feels sticky, it feels gooey, and all the dust and dirt just gets stuck in it. So I decided to put a grill in front so that the dust and cat hair and whatnot does not go in. And if you look, you can see that there's some, well, no, at this camera angle I don't see it, but sometimes you can see that there are some dust particles or maybe a grain of sand there stuck in there. And when you have this nice light grill in front, then it prevents that thing. So this is what Nelly made like 2 nights ago, and it really makes it like a gothic look, almost like stockings. Look at that, very kinky, but super effective. And it didn't change the sound signature at all, because for regular loudspeakers, when you put the grill in front, the sound signature will totally change with the grill on and the grill off. And that has multiple reasons. So one of the reasons here why it doesn't change is because this is an extremely low frequency source. So the crossover is at 260 hertz. So basically we are getting only very low frequencies. And when you have grill on, If you have high frequency source behind the grill, that's going to get affected big time. So if I put the grill here, it's going to make a very big impact because I am interfering with this fellow there, right? But I don't have that kind of fellow here. Eventually I do. Look at that, at the dead center, the hole there. So that's the venting hole, and actually the venting hole acts as a very high frequency transducer. So eventually this little stockings here, that's actually beneficial, because whatever artifacts are coming which are at the strongest around 15 kilohertz, then this helps to filter that out. So when you look into loudspeaker design, you will notice that if you have a phase plug, that's better than having a vented hole, and adding the grill, it kind of takes care a big part of the errors that the venting hole does. So how this translates is that when the electricity sucks and I'm listening to Netflix stuff or YouTube, then you can hear the digital coding errors much more than normally, and it starts to sound harsh. And I noticed that this starts beaming high frequencies, so there's some distortion creeping up from the power line, and that's interacting with the low quality source material, and I'm getting a lot of energy coming here, despite the fact that the crossover should get rid of it. But apparently the level gets so high that even the crossover doesn't filter it out. And however, if I'm listening to high quality material like turntable records, this is never an issue. I'm not getting high frequency information from here. It's just coming from there as it's supposed to be. So this is just one oxymoron, some strange phenomenon that's happening. Maybe you have experienced it yourself, maybe not, but it uh, might be explaining a few things that you are experiencing. If you have a vented pole piece woofer and sometimes your system sounds harsh, then it maybe it's not your tweeter that's the cause. It might be the vented pole piece giving high frequency distortion products. So I hope that this is a nice information for everyone about this grill, this full body stockings type of grill, and on surrounds and on cone maintenance. Please like, subscribe, tell your amazing friends. Bye bye.